It's apparent that 2028 is underway, and a lot of y'all's favorite sports commentator who gets on my nerves is what y'all think is best for the Democratic Party. And in fact, not a lot of y'all. He usually polls at 1%, but don't tell him that. We've seen a lot of Stephen A. Smith recently, and as people know who've read my book, I'm not a huge fan of Stephen A. Smith. I think he talks a lot, talks too much, and doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. However, he is kind of newsy. In fact, you see him in his battle recently with our good friend LeBron James, who said that if LeBron James put hands on him, he would touch LeBron James, and people just laughed. In fact, the same night he said that, LeBron James did what? Go out and hit a buzzer beater, and then mocked him on Twitter by showing Stephen A. Smith's boxing skills. Actually, it was Instagram or whatever people are using these days. And so, yeah, I do think, though, that something about Stephen A. Smith and his conversations that he's having and the fact that he's turned into this really kind of media whore running around on this tour means that we need to have a conversation about 2028. Now, I am reminded that in 2000 and 2005, we did not know Barack Obama was really going to be president of the United States in 2008. So this is very premature, but we have seen people emerge. And if you all follow me on social media, you know I've been really hard on Stephen A. Smith. And though he's denied the rumors he's running, particularly after signing a $100 million contract, his candidacy is interesting because he's someone who does understand how Americans receive information. And that's something most Democrats don't understand. He's been on Fox News. He's got his own podcast. You see all of these other things that he's doing, and he's on social media in an authentic way. I think that he doesn't. I think he's extremely shallow, and he has the political intellect of a shallow bathtub, but yet and still, he does understand this media environment. And he talks to men, which is very important and something Democrats don't do well. And we've seen, particularly in the Democratic Party, that we're hemorrhaging men. So, as a candidate who understands men and who understands this media environment, maybe he's something or someone that Democrats will have to deal with if they want to be president of the United States. I also like the idea of candidates who aren't career politicians or candidates who may come from a different background. And because Washington Democrats just ain't it. And we barely follow them, and they shouldn't be leading. And you already saw my video on Gavin Newsom. He's a non-starter for a host of reasons. But I also hope that people get out of this mind frame of people who are good on TV and assuming because they're good on TV, they'll be good executives. We should have learned our lesson from Andrew Cuomo. He should open a PR firm, but shouldn't be president or mayor of New York. Rahm Emanuel's a non-starter too. He's the same person who told Barack Obama not to focus on the judiciary. It was literally one of the dumbest decisions ever made. As we go back, we know that Harriet Miers being replaced by Justice Alito. We know that y'all not voting for Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Donald Trump choosing 3 Supreme Court justices. And we also know that Thurgood Marshall being replaced by Clarence Thomas were probably the 3 most consequential things that happened in my lifetime. And Rahm Emanuel is at fault for at least 33% of that. He's the same person who also hid the Laquan McDonald murders. So he's a non-starter. There are others I don't know, but I'm open to. Midwestern governors like Pritzker and Whitmer. You have Governor Beshear of Kentucky, and even AOC, who we'll hear from. I've got friends like Pete and Wes Moore and Raphael Warnock and Governor Walz, who I want to see run. And I welcome all of them to come get a haircut with me, go to church with me, come hang out in South Carolina. Let's see what this is really about. And if black voters in South Carolina aren't jazzed up for you, then they probably won't be jazzed up in Detroit or Atlanta or Charlotte or Milwaukee or Philadelphia either. So this is a good place to start. Then there are lots of other people who I don't know what to make of, but here's what I do know. I knew Democrats need to find somebody who understands how the media works and how men think. I know Democrats need to be intentional about recruiting non-career politicians. I like governors just fine, but I think we need more mayors, especially the young ones. I think Frank Scott in Little Rock or Randall Woodfin in Birmingham. I know we need a candidate that black voters want to rally around and actually go out and support, not someone that just takes us for granted. I know we need a candidate that's not old, that's comfortable with the press, not just MSNBC and not just on Sundays. I know we need a candidate like Pete who also does well and has a record of actually saying things and doing the right things, unlike Governor Newsom. DC Democrats need not apply. I think that's pretty much the message. Democrats are a mess, but a messy primary might be just what we need. Another episode of the Sellers Report in the book. Make sure you clip it. Make sure you share, subscribe. Ask your mama what she thinks. Yeah, your aunties. Ask them what they think. Don't be afraid to be critical. Leave suggestions. And I'm thinking about going to a little split screen here and bringing some people on for about 4 or 5 minutes. You tell me who you want to see. Leave comments below. Like, subscribe, share. This is another episode of the Sellers Report. Thank you so much. Please join again, and we out.